Hi and welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Vince. Thanks for stopping by. You are very welcome here indeed. So a new study out of Australia has looked at a new type of exercise or a new measurement of exercise that can reduce all-cause mortality by 40% and cardiovascular disease by up to 49%. Enough waffling off me. Let's jump into the presentation and let's see what this new study out of Australia has got to offer. This is a review of a piece I read that was penned by the University of Sydney in Australia, and it covers a study that was published in Nature Medicine, which looked into how beneficial the level of exercise we conduct as part of our daily life can indeed add up and be as beneficial as structured exercise. And there are links in the description below to the studies and to the articles I used to put this presentation together. So this new study seems like very good news for those of you that want to keep fit and live longer, but don't like playing sport or even going to the gym. The new research suggests that just 3 to 4 1-minute bursts of huffing and puffing during your daily tasks is associated with large reductions in the risk of premature death, particularly death from cardiovascular disease. The study that was published in Nature Medicine was led by the University of Sydney's Charles Perkins Centre. In a first of its kind, the study accurately measured the health benefits of what researchers have now termed vigorous intermittent lifestyle physical activity, or VILPA for short. A VILPA is defined as very short bouts of vigorous activity between 1 or 2 minutes, things we do with gusto each and every day. These could be activities like running for the bus, bursts of power walking while doing errands around the town, or playing high energy games with your kids. The researchers found that just 3 to 4 1-minute bouts of VILPA every day is associated with up to a 40% reduction in cancer and all-cause related mortality, and up to 49% reduction in death related to cardiovascular disease. Emmanuel Stamatakis, lead author of the study and professor of physical activity, lifestyle and population health at the University of Sydney's Charles Perkins Centre, said, "Our study shows similar benefits to high-intensity interval training, HIIT, can be achieved through increasing the intensity of incidental activities done as part of daily living, and the more the better. A few very short bouts, totaling 3 to 4 minutes a day, could go a long way, and there are many activities that can be tweaked to raise your heart rate for a minute or so." The vast majority of adults aged 40 and over do not take part in organised sport or even regular activity. But Professor Stamatakis said the study reveals how incidental physical activity can overcome many of these barriers. He noted that upping the intensity of daily activities requires no time commitment, no preparation, no club memberships, no special skills. It simply involves stepping up the pace while walking or doing the housework with a bit more energy. The team of researchers used wrist-worn tracker data from the UK Biobank study. This large biomedical database was interrogated to measure the activity of over 25,000 non-exercisers. These were participants of the study who self-reported that they do not do any sport or exercise during their leisure time. Using method, the researchers concluded that any activity that was recorded by the group had to be incidental physical activity, which was conducted as part of everyday living. The team then accessed health data that allowed them to follow the participants for more than 7 years. A point to note is that the study was observational, meaning they cannot directly establish cause and effect. However, the researchers took rigorous statistical measurements to minimize the possibility that the results are explained by differences in health status between the individual participants. So let's take a look at the results. The researchers found that about 89% of all participants did some form of VILPA, and among those who did participate in VILPA, 93% of all VILPA bouts lasted up to 1 minute. On the average day, each participant did 8 VILPA bouts of about up to 1 minute each, totaling around 6 minutes per day. On average, each VILPA bout lasted around 45 seconds. What's more, the researchers also found that the steepest gains were seen when comparing those who'd completed 4 to 5 bouts per day against those who completed no VILPA at all. However, the largest benefits were found with larger amounts of VILPA. This intimates that the more short bursts of activity per day, the better. The maximum of 11 bouts a day was associated with a 65% reduction in cardiovascular death risk and a 49% reduction in cancer-related death risk. This was when compared to those who recorded no VILPA whatsoever any day. Interestingly, a comparative analysis of vigorous activity looked at 62,000 people who regularly engaged in VILPA and found comparable results. This implies that whether the vigorous activity is done as part of structured exercise or housework, for example, the results do not compromise the resulting health benefits. As with many studies, the reaction time of the so-called expert organisations, usually 3-letter acronyms, is dreadfully slow. The international team from the University of Sydney, the University of Oxford, University College London, the University of Glasgow, the University of Southern Denmark and the McMaster University are all calling for physical activity guidelines and clinical advice to be updated very quickly to keep pace with this ever-evolving area of study. Current global guidelines imply that the health benefits of vigorous intensity physical activity are gained through and only through structured physical activity such as sport or running during leisure time. It was only in 2020, but better late than never, that the World Health Organization global guidelines on physical activity and sedentary behaviour, co-chaired by Professor Stamatakis, acknowledged that all activity counts and the stipulation that activity should be accumulated in 10-minute bouts was actually removed. Professor Stamatakis noted that our previous knowledge about the health benefits of vigorous physical activity came from questionnaire-based studies, but questionnaires cannot measure short bouts of any intensity. The ability of wearable technology to reveal micro patterns of physical activity, such as VILPA, holds huge potential for understanding the most feasible and time-efficient ways people can benefit from physical activity, no matter whether it's done for recreation or part of daily living. Well, I hope you found that interesting or informative, hopefully both. I've made some notes. I think this is an excellent study that shows that every little bit of exercise we do can help, even if it is just taking the stairs instead of the lift, or I think you call it the elevator or the escalator. It can make all the difference. The study didn't define VILPA with regard to heart rate, but I'm guessing it's at least getting into the aerobic range. Let me know in the comments of the YouTube section what range you think VILPA might be. My tracker shows intensive aerobic, anaerobic and VO2 max. And even on the days when I don't exercise, so we've gone out somewhere, I haven't had a chance to get to the gym, or we're not going to do the 1 hour run and walk, I still get around 1 hour's intensive and between 5 or 10 minutes of aerobic exercise. Let me know in the comment section of the YouTube video, do you, when you're not exercising, still get around 6 minutes of VILPA per day? And do you normally hit that 45 seconds or over a minute of vigorous activity? I'd be interested to see what your comments are.